Hey, and welcome to another installment of Geek Out Commentary, where we're continuing our Rocktober Horror Film Fest. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
And this week, it's Jake's Day, Jake's Pick.
Yes, that's right. One of my all-time favorite movies, 1933's The Invisible Man.
Starring Claude Rains.
Yeah.
Claude Rains got this movie by total accident. He was auditioning for another role in another room, and they heard his voice through the wall, and they knew that the voice is what they needed to carry the performance, because you don't see Claude Rains in this movie until about the end for about a couple seconds. And
Interesting how you don't see the Invisible Man.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Do you know who the original pick for the Invisible
Yes.
Man was?
Boris Karloff, and he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to be seen, which always really irks me. That's one of the things that I love Claude Rains forever for this. I love anyone who ever takes the opportunity to act behind a mask in a movie, and this is what really started my kind of crazy love for masked acting, because I think masked acting is kind of the truest form of acting, because you can't rely on your face. You can't rely on sometimes your face can be an easy kind of mechanism to give away emotion, where, if something's coming to your face, you have to really kind of use everything else besides your face, which is kind of very interesting. And I love anonymity too. And so the idea that Claude Rains takes this role when no one else wanted it because they weren't going to have their face shown is pretty great. And it really shows. I mean, he has one of the most unique voices. I think it's a lot of mix of his daughter said where he grew up, he had this really thick Cockney accent, but also wanted to put on this kind of more proper kind of air about him as well, and it kind of creates this accent that no one else ever had, because it's something that he kind of created himself.
Well, wasn't his voice affected by chemical warfare in World War I?
It may have been. I just know that the interview with his daughter always spoke about him he would meld two accents together as a child, and it kind of carried over. But yeah, there's I'm going to be geeking out a lot about certain scenes, just performance wise with his voice, because there are some scenes where it's not him as the Invisible Man in the bandages, and there are some obviously majority of the scenes are him, but also we get most people of our generation are going to know Gloria Stewart from Titanic, but this is a movie where she was really in her heyday.
Also, she plays Old Rose.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Old Rose, and she is the love interest in this film, and it's James Whales directs it.
I'm probably going to geek out quite a bit too, just because I love, as a lot of our listeners will know, I'm kind of a video editor, and I love how they were able to do the visual effect of him being in his clothes, but you see an exposed, quote unquote exposed skin that you see through. And I just love double exposure, which is how they did it. Yeah. And I'm sure if there's a lull, I'll probably go off on oh, it's so cool.
Well, the great thing about this also is it hasn't really changed since 1933.
Yeah, technically you're still using the same effect now.
I mean, it's funny. Claude Rains was claustrophobic, and he had to wear a black felt suit, and then the bandages and the robes on top of it, and they'd film it, obviously in front of a black felt kind of screen and superimpose the background on it. But yeah, honestly,
then I guess I don't have to explain how they did the effect.
Sorry. Dick. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they don't. They haven't really changed it much. I mean, this is something where, when they were talking about doing this movie, they were like, well, we have to get it to where it actually looks like someone's invisible. Of course, they do the classic tricks with stuff on a string and other little cheap tricks here and there to get the job done. But
but this shot where he's taking the bandages off his
it's great.
Head is still probably one of the coolest visual effects.
It still
especially for the technology that they didn't have.
Exactly. I mean, it still looks really good, and there are a bunch of sequels to this movie, and they actually just build on it more and more.
I actually haven't seen any of these sequels. Maybe I'll borrow this DVD from you,
should.
because I saw it had all the sequels on it.
Vincent Price is in The Return of the Invisible Man. Yeah, it's my favorite Vincent Price role. It's
How
really
did I
great.
Not know?
But it's also one of my favorite books of all time. And don't worry, this isn't going to be like a this happens in the book, this doesn't happen in the book kind of thing. But real quick, the reason this ever came into my life as a movie or a book was a book report I had to do either in elementary school or middle school, where we had to compare the movie and the book. And it's funny, for something called The Invisible Man, I was so struck by the way he looked with the bandages. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so read the book, watched the movie, and the movie I've had on VHS, and now the Legacy edition or whatever DVD. And I hope they do something with Blu-ray soon. I've seen they've been doing the other Universal.
The big ones like Dracula and
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
so I hope they do an Invisible Man one. That'd be really great. And if anything, I mean, out of all those movies, The Invisible Man is the most visual in terms of what they were able to do with special effects.
I think popularity, it goes like Frankenstein and Dracula are kind of neck and neck, and then like after that would be like The Mummy and the Wolfman, and then The Invisible Man. Unfortunately, because like you said, like
would you put Invisible Man over Creature from the Black Lagoon? I know Jake wouldn't, but because otherwise he would have picked Creature.
Yeah, no, I think I do like that movie though.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love all the Universal.
I think I don't know, because Creature still has like a lot of like pop culture references. I feel like I hear it referenced more frequently than Invisible Man. So yeah, actually, as much as it pains me to do it, I think I probably would put Creature above
Phantom
Invisible
of the Opera
Man.
is technically a Universal.
Phantom I love as well. I mean, Phantom I'd probably put second behind The Invisible Man for me.
One of my favorite Broadway shows.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah, it's great.
On Broadway?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Lucky
I saw it
Yeah.
at the Kennedy Center. That was the only time I ever saw it.
Nice.
It's still great, but yeah, it's good stuff.
The movie's terrible.
Oh yeah, with
Gerard
Patrick
Butler.
Wilson.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson's good though.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris, go ahead and cue us up.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're rocking with the what is this? The Legacy.
Yeah, the Legacy
Collection
edition, 'cause
DVD.
it collects all the
Yeah.
DVD, all the films on 2 DVDs, I think.
But yeah, so there. I mean, as long as you're following along with us, it should be fine. There's I don't think there are any special random scenes added in or anything that'll mess you up. So
not at all.
Okay, so as per usual, we got that ready to go, paused at all zeros on the counter. Get that set up, and then now I'm going to count down and tell you to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
A Universal picture.
I love that old logo.
Oh man, sponsored by the NRA.
Back when they were respectable.
Yeah.
Take that, Wayne LaPierre. I just made this political. H.G. Wells, who also wrote The Time Machine.
And
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, and this movie actually got Claude Rains the credit in the Rocky Horror Picture Show opening song, science fiction double feature. I mean, it's just one line where it's just like, and Claude Rains was the Invisible Man.
Also the subject of a Queen song, a late Queen song.
Yeah.
This is his first. He was in a silent film, but this is his first actual real film credit and role.
His first talkie.
That's right. He had a hell of a career if you think about it. I mean, this is the start of
James Whale, who directed Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein.
Start of a beautiful career, as paraphrase. He's Casablanca. He's in Lawrence of Arabia. Gets nominated for an Oscar, I believe, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yeah.
Was in the Phantom of the Opera as well. Played the Phantom.
And Harry Stubbs.
So a funny story about the way.
Wasn't the Phantom Herbert Lom?
No, he was the Phantom in one of the Phantom.
Oh, the one in the 50s, my bad.
So he took his daughter to see this movie in a theater one time, and it was snowing, and he was dressed pretty much exactly like this. You couldn't see his face because of the scarf, and he asked with his famous voice, 2 tickets, please, The Invisible Man. And the guy behind the counter was so like freaked out in awe that he tried to give him the tickets for free, and Claude Rains refused. Said,
That's a stand-up man there.
I have to pay. So we are going to see the wife of the innkeeper, probably one of the most overacting performances we've ever seen, even over what's-his-face in Wild Wild West.
Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah. She's very over the top. Supposedly H.G. Wells loved her performance, though.
Any idea how H.G. Wells felt about the differences in the between this and his novel?
Not entirely. I mean, I don't know if I haven't read too much about it. But like I said, I know he loved the performance of the innkeeper, and I think, or the wife of the innkeeper, and I think overall he was fine with it. I mean, this is compared to the other Universal monster movies, this is a pretty fair adaptation of the book, compared to Dracula and Frankenstein.
Yeah. Also, I think this is the only one of the few Universal monsters we see from like Jump.
Mm-hmm. I do love his laugh. His laugh is
great.
That was one of the first things that stuck out to me in this when I saw it the first time, is how sinister his laugh is. She's in Adventures of Robin Hood, I believe, too.
Yeah, she plays Maid Marian's lady in waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is a bit of overacting.
Just wait, man. She's at about like 4 right now. 4 out of like 20.
Move. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it before, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then this set piece is like 75% of the rest of the movie, right?
No, I mean, well, it takes place for a little bit while, a couple days of him trying to figure out the cure.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I love so much about his performance is he's not totally insane yet, because the one drug that they use drives you insane, like the main component that makes you invisible. And you see there's some great moments where he struggles back and forth, and then there's, a speech he gives where he finally goes over the edge, and that's it.
Now, how would you say this compares to Kevin Bacon's Invisible Man?
Hollow Man?
Or is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Ah!
Chevy Chase was in an Invisible Man movie, Diaries
I remember
of
that, yeah.
Invisible Man or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do know, because I've seen Hollow Man.
Yeah.
So have I.
One thing that I don't think they mention in this is that he's an albino in the book. And technically, if you could become invisible, you'd be blind, because you need the reflection off the eye to be able to see.
Yeah, well, you also need to shield your eyes from the sunlight too, unless he's not invisible to himself.
Mm-hmm. They also had to, explain how difficult it would be if you could see and you were invisible. Like, try walking up the stairs without seeing your feet.
Oh, yeah.
But when I first time I saw this, I remember thinking I'd love to be invisible just so I could wrap myself in bandages and do that kind of shit, like pull off the glove and yeah. Or when he shows himself for the first time to the townsfolk,
slowly unwrap the head bandage.
Cackling,
that's probably my favorite.
Cackling like a madman.
Yeah.
But this whole thing right here, this whole scene is like very much like a stage play. You could have just in and out, in and out.
Yeah. A lot of movies around within the first generation of like talkies and prior were set up like that.
Yeah.
Because most of the actors were stage actors anyway.
Yeah.
Talkies at this point had only been around for like 6 years.
Yeah. No, and Claude Rains wasn't a very experienced stage actor. So yeah, his room is a good chunk of the movie. Even when he's not in it.
Yeah, and also that's what audiences were used to if they're seeing a performance.
Don't look at me.
He also rocks some pretty awesome shades throughout this movie, like the goggles here and then the double-sided later on. Here's our first shot here.
Whoa. Looks so fucking cool.
Maybe next year we'll each pick a Universal film.
Yeah.
Or Hammer. We could do Hammer instead.
Oh man, I want to watch all the Hammers so bad. I've only gotten a handful of experience with them.
Yeah, me too.
I love them.
So, portrait of Isaac Newton over the fireplace. The father of English science.
Who would also have a portrait over the fireplace of Doc Brown.
There's Gloria Stewart.
Post cruise on the HMS Titanic. Kate Winslet grows up to be Gloria Stewart.
Oh, Jack. All these connections to Titanic. But yeah, so the way that they would do the effect, to go into a little bit more detail, is this technique called double exposure, essentially, where they would shoot a scene or the shot. They would just shoot the background, no principal actors in front of it, and then separately they would shoot the actor, and in this case, Claude Rains would be in a black, like, bodysuit made out of felt, and then they would wrap the bandages and put whatever, costuming they wanted to have on top of him, and then just the exposed parts were still that black felt, and then they would shoot in front of a black felt background, and that black wouldn't expose on the film. And then, depending on what technique they would use, they would combine the two film, or they would just, shoot his acting, and then with the same film loaded into the camera, shoot the background, and the black stuff wouldn't develop for his part. And then once they exposed the background as well, it would, develop on that film. And it's really cool.
Didn't we find out that the picture in Batman and Robin that Alfred has of his beloved is a picture of Gloria Stewart?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure that it's a picture of Gloria Stewart.
I can't remember if it's Gloria Stewart, but I do remember that it was like a headshot.
Yeah, it looks exactly like her. I always thought Kemp kind of looked like Howard Hughes.
She lived to be 100 years old, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Most impressive.
Most impressive. But they get some Rage, Invisible Man here. I actually would love to see just select scenes of this as like a stage play.
It'd be interesting to see how they would do the effect.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that'd be.
Probably just have a guy wearing like black.
Yeah. Well, you could. I mean, that'd be interesting. Yeah, you would do kind of cool fade out. You draw the background as black to give this weird kind of dream sequence thing.
Yeah. You would probably do it in like a what's known as a black box setting, where you would basically, instead of having like a whole room, with the designs, you would just have like his tables and chairs, but the backdrop would still be black. So that would actually help the effect of him being see-through, because then, he's wearing black, the background's black.
Yeah. So, Sam, you've read the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen books, and the Invisible Man is in those, correct?
Yeah, he's Griffin Hawkins. Though in the books, it's he's a thief that steals the formula from this guy.
Claude Rains.
Yeah,
Jack
Sims or whatever.
Griffin.
Griffin, yeah.
Ruined. Pay for that. The pouty face.
Invisible pouty face.
Yeah.
I like how everything except for his hair apparently is invisible.
Well, he does that all as a trick to let
Yeah.
people think, he's still there.
Ah.
It's a wig.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because
he,
takes the wig off.
like I said, we still have Jack Griffin here, where I get when he pleads this guy, but he's still looking for a way back. So there's a sense of a man there.
Yeah.
We haven't crossed the line totally yet. Always wanted to dress up as him for Halloween.
Do it.
But yeah, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Invisible Man's a different Invisible Man, and he's more of a lout. I mean, the first time we see him, he's raping girls in an all-girls school in London. Classic Alan Moore.
Yeah.
No, seriously, think about how many Alan Moore books have sexual assault, and it's maybe he's... I mean, we already knew he was crazy, but that's just another nail in the old Alan Moore coffin.
Yep.
All in all, it's just another break in the wall.
Oh.
Part 2.
So this guy's about to get owned. So remember how I said she's about to go overacting?
I don't know how many words I got out of that.
I heard help police.
Again, the words don't. I can't. There's no words.
Also, this movie has quite the body count.
Yeah.
Highest of any Universal film,
Oh, yeah.
I think.
By far.
Soundtrack by Body Count.
One of them homicidal maniacs. Turn into like a weird Bane. I don't know what's going on.
He's just reacting to her acting.
Yeah.
It's what we call method.
Why did I marry this woman? But this mob behind me, they can stay.
Yeah.
Including that guy that looks barely awake.
I'm wide awake.
I think I've heard that before.
Tell you what for?
It's a cool shot, especially for a 30s film.
Mm-hmm.
Comes the laugh.
Now that was done. That front-facing shot was done with a dummy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the one from the behind is done with the black screen and the double exposure, just like that one was.
The Joker laugh. boy, Invisible Man striptease. Just think about his invisible dick. Just flopping around.
Ripping and tearing.
I'm the Invisible Man. I'm the Invisible Man.
Also, a lot of the invisible stuff obviously goes with the actors acting, like pretending that they're being strangled by Invisible Man.
Yeah.
So a lot of it goes to like this police officer, for example here, really sells it. And string work.
I felt his junk.
Invisible Wang.
I am the Invisible Wang. Now that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Just tipping over baby carriages. So like he's pretty much embraced like the batshit insanity right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Green Arrow.
What a random shot.
It was meant to show the news of him spreading, but you'd think they would actually, maybe...
Show a headline?
Yeah.
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 Those audiences were much smarter back in the 30s.
Guess so.
Yeah.
All they needed was a shot.
Yeah.
They didn't need
They're
context.
like, yes.
Oh,
yes.
guys reading... that probably wasn't even part of the shoot.
Yeah.
Just, guys reading newspapers
Stock
on the street.
footage.
Awesome.
They were like, we need this movie to be 3 seconds longer.
Yeah. We got to hit that 76-minute mark. Give me an epic.
I mean, to be fair, Hollywood is really strict with like their time things, and like they probably would be like, it needs to be 3 seconds longer.
Do you,
I mean, I don't know about like back this time, but like during the 90s, like it was nuts.
Really?
Yeah.
Sam, do you know off the top of your head like runtimes compared to like Dracula and Frankenstein? Like, because this is like 76 minutes, I know. Do you know how
71, in fact.
this one is?
Unless it's
71. I'm sorry. Yeah, 11 minutes. Yeah, it's an hour and 11. Yeah.
I mean, back then, like an hour and a half was a long movie.
Yeah.
Most movies.
Also, the book's not very long either.
Yeah. Most movies capped
Most
off at like
H.G. books are short.
an hour and 15.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding.
There's the first edition of The Invisible Man is this great red hardcover with a gold engraving on the front of the Invisible Man sitting with a pipe with no bandages on a rocking chair, and that's like one of the coolest books. Like if
Nice.
I could snap my fingers and have any first edition of like this, like of like a classic novel easily.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your earlier question, Jake, Dracula, which is what kicked off the Universal horror films, was the original 31 release was 85 minutes.
Oh wow!
They re-released it in 36 with some edits to appease the censors
Mm-hmm.
at 70. 75. Like
So
cut 10 minutes.
It's about par for the course.
Yeah.
But yeah, nowadays, I don't know about back in this time, but like, in order to be called a feature-length movie, it had to be at least 65 minutes long, which is why, which one is it? I think it's Epic Movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that terrible, one of those parody movies.
Oh, yeah.
It is 66 minutes long.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And 65 of them are terrible.
Last minute is the minute of joy when it's over,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Actually, I can't honestly say anything because I haven't seen it, but like it just looked terrible. It's one of those rushed ones. It's like, oh, pop culture, pop culture, pop culture.
Yeah.
Like, it was... it was all things that were like just hitting their, okay, too much. Done with this, right when the movie came out. Country Village.
Now, I know I wasn't going to say like more of like, this is like the book, this is like the movie. The one thing I will say that I think is very different, if I remember correctly, is Kemp's character, like his characterization and the way he is, totally different. Like he's kind of a coward backstabber in this, where he's much more of a scientist and some may say the hero of the book.
I'm naked.
He also doesn't die in the book, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is the start of like my favorite sequence in the movie, pretty much when he's in Kemp's house. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
And so basically I was completely wrong about my whole thing saying that the half of the rest of the movie was in that same
Well, when they go back, I mean,
because all of his stuff's still there.
they have a whole big thing. This is really cool.
Yeah, and this is double exposure here. Very well done.
Now later on, they have it where you can see like the smoke in the lungs. I believe in Return of the Invisible Man, or the sequel with Vincent Price, you can actually see his lungs fill up.
That's awesome.
It's funny, on the VHS for this movie, on the back, the picture they show is from the sequel. So this, which is not, kind of funny. So it's a picture of Vincent Price as the Invisible Man for the Claude Rains Invisible Man.
Nice.
And this is the beginning of what I think most people recognize as the classic Invisible Man look with the robe.
Yeah. Yeah, when I think of the Invisible Man, it's always like...
Although it's funny, keep an eye out. When he puts the bandages on and we're about to see him here for the first time, they're kind of more haphazardly thrown on. And when he... when what's-her-face...
Rose.
Thank you, yeah. Rose from Titanic. Gloria Stewart comes to visit. He cleans them up a bit, so it's almost like grooming himself before his for the love of his life shows up. So there's a noticeable difference in his bandages.
Now they poorly chose the colors for the pajamas there, because you could see certain moments or certain instances that you could see through the clothes during the on the darker stripes. Words. Which, like, on some of our green screen stuff that we've done, I ran into the same problems mostly because of the way that we lit it. And, like, some of the first stuff we did, I had a blue shirt on, and blue is close to green. So, depending on, like, which shade I was keying out, if I did it too intensely, it would start to key out my blue as well.
Gotcha. Spending too much time saluting around here.
Well,
And I won't have my brain smashed in.
Hugh Hefner, Invisible Man.
That's right. Yeah, those glasses are the best.
Do I look fantastic?
Oh, he's like, no, Kemp. And Kemp's in the next room. Action shot. I have a cool little, like, kind of like a bobblehead, like Invisible Man, like about maybe like 2-3 inches big, and he's in this outfit, and he's striking a pose that he'll do later on when he's like, even the moon's frightened of me. And the cool thing is, I never noticed this until someone pointed it out. Actually, his sleeve is pulled up, and there's nothing there for his arm supposed to be, which is kind of a cool thing.
I have a friend who has a statue of him, like, kind of having, like, a eureka moment.
Yeah, that's my favorite
like,
scene in the movie.
And,
where
like, the top of his rags on his head are undone.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of got the same thing where, like, he has no wrist.
Yeah.
And the hand and vial are just kind of floating there because, like, a rag from his hand like is dangling down and, like, attached to his leg or something like that.
That's cool. They're releasing these really awesome, the Marvel Select, the big Marvel Select, like, superhero action figures. They have a Van Helsing, a Frankenstein, and a Creature from the Black Lagoon that they released. I'm really hoping they're going to do an Invisible Man. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Right.
And they have, like, those, like, old retro reaction 3.5-inch figures they've been doing, and they have an Invisible Man coming out in this,
Nice.
which I'll definitely have to grab.
I choose you.
Rain of Blood.
Little song, little dance.
Batman's head on the lance. It'll only take us 3 hours. Oh.
Freaky.
Yeah. Just follow me.
Yeah, exactly. Dick. That was for you, Sam.
Smacking that ass.
This movie is designed to make you want to smack your own ass.
Could you imagine James Whale like, all right, this is the scene now. Pretend like a man's smacking you in the smacking you in the ass.
Did you ever see the movie Gods and Monsters?
No. Oh, but I know about it. Yeah.
Ian McKellen played. It's a biofilm about James Whale with Ian McKellen as James Whale.
Actually, I have seen it. Yeah.
Do they highlight Invisible Man at all, or?
They mention. I mean, the focus is Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or it's the Invisible Man.
Every kid in the 30s sounds the same. Oh, shut up, golly gee.
All the while walking up the stairs going, I'm the Invisible Man, I'm the Invisible Man. So impressive.
Very neat. But fuck that table. Yeah, like, you know, the shots where, like, it's obviously strings and wire work and stuff has to be, like, so perfectly, like, executed take after take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta reread the book again. It's been a long, long time.
Oh, Chief Inspector shock face.
Yeah. It's have to be Chief Inspector dead face.
Yeah.
She gets rocked in the head a couple times.
That was James Whale basically being like, I've had enough of this lady.
That one guy's got the idea.
Mammy. Mammy.
And that's to see last we see of her.
Good.
Ouch.
Oof.
Even for strings, that would hurt.
Yeah.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks. Or as much as 1933 Hollywood pays. Man,
Huh.
it's like Great Depression Hollywood, too, so probably not that much, actually.
Yeah. Probably about as much as we get paid right now.
Yeah, I feel like you should have had a scene like that earlier instead of just people walking down like Los Angeles.
What are you
Street.
talking about? You couldn't figure out that news was spreading? I guess you're one of those dumb audiences
Yeah.
from not this era.
From
Yeah.
not 1933.
Yeah.
1933 audiences are like, I know exactly what he's doing right there.
Nowadays, people need the story spoon-fed to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then, they could explain it all in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Oh, he's naked. Oh.
This is great where he explains how difficult it would be to be invisible.
Ugh.
Aladdin's magic lamp.
Too much butter there.
That's got to be creepy to see.
Mm-hmm. What a badass.
Rude. Didn't even say goodnight back.
Yeah, what a dick. Freddy Krueger can invade his dreams.
Nice tie into last week.
Yeah. Does he have a dream that he's naked in front of his classmates, but no one can see him because he's invisible? The owner's like, well, this is the worst day ever in the history of my business. Dick Tracy. Not
Neville?
Dick Tracy. Yeah. Neville Sinclair.
You and your heroes.
Yeah. That's Hogan knows best. Yeah.
All right, brothers. So we're first going to find this invisible man, Hulkamaniacs.
Could be naked.
That is a lot of people. One thing I got at New York Comic Con last year was a really nice print poster of the movie, and it's like one of my favorite posters of all time. Some of the really just great classic Universal art. They had all those posters for.
Nice.
As soon as he hears that, he's like, fuck it, and grabs his baseball bat and walks out.
Back to your local heavy metal. It's heavy for back in the day.
That record's been banned in 3 counties.
Yes, the horns are too loud, you hear? Just a peaceful, invisible man. And the world around him is crumbling. Do you think Jack Griffin was like, what the fuck, man, when he saw the picture of Gloria Stewart, like, on his fireplace? Like, that's my girlfriend, man. That's when he made up his mind he's going to kill him. Well, I'm pretty sure he's made up his mind a while ago on that one. In the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie, don't they have? Isn't it they? And they do this later on as like the years go by with Invisible Man remakes and reboots and interpretations, where he has like the
puts on stage makeup.
Yeah.
In the film.
Mm-hmm. And in Hollow Man, it's like the liquid.
Yeah, he pours a liquid skin or
Yeah.
whatever over top of him, and wears a hoodie, like the Invisible Man of 2002 would do. It's almost like it's foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. The invisible, visible man. It's wasted. The police station.
Little pig, let me in. By the shitty mustache on your
Chin?
lips. Sorry, Buck.
That's terrifying.
I was masturbating. Ugh.
Him and Tom Hanks.
Bosom buddies, man.
Wasn't the theme song a Billy Joel song? To Bosom Buddies?
I'll take your word for it.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Sure.
All right, this is leading up to my favorite scene in the movie and one of my favorite scenes ever. This is when he decides to put on his best robes and bandages, and
It's
he
time
gives
for my going out robes.
exactly put on his Sunday best. But this is where he
Hello Kitty bandages.
right here he starts to revert back to the Jack Griffin before he went insane because of Flora.
Asleep and chloroform him?
If you ever follow me on Twitter, I wrote like an essay about how much I love this scene in 140 characters, just like over, like, you know, in a series of tweets.
Mm.
But just his way of like being totally in love with Flora here and the man he once was, and by the end of the scene, he's absolutely insane and beyond any kind of redemption whatsoever. It's good shit. Mass acting 101.
Yeah. Good shit lollipop, man.
Yep.
with fauna. Smart joke.
This is where he starts to lose it.
Working day and night. It's a Michael Jackson song.
Just the shot of you're looking up at the Invisible Man, so it's like superior.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
see...
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that even the moon's frightened of me. But the scene where he literally grabs her arm and pushes her off of him so he can prove his point about how he's going to take over the world and she no longer means anything to him. But then he kind of slips back here in a moment, fighting constantly.
Police officers, like, I can't mount this wall. Are you kidding me?
The 20-year man.
Big hands, guys. Big hands.
Red Rover status.
This is where he owns Kemp before actually owning him by killing him, but...
Yes, Bruce, you've always been a true friend.
He's got my testicles. Steady, boys. Cover your testicles.
Or you can, just crawl under...
No. No crawling. We're men of action.
Well, the Invisible Man, he's clean.
Should we shoot in that general direction? No, just run at him.
We don't fire bullets after midnight. There's just, This was the end of one of the trailers for it. Like, all this chaos, and this is how they end the trailer.
He's going commando in those police pants.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Ever go commando in jeans before? It sucks.
Not a fan.
Yeah. Something about these old, 30s, 40s movies, not just the Universal stuff, but, Robin Hood and Zorro and the old serials, like, it just taps into that whole kind of, it's not an innocence thing, that's not the right word, but just this, and it's not even like a simple filmmaking, but it's not as, there's not as much going on, and it's just, fun without having to be so over dramatic and serious all the time, and pretty clear, good guy, bad guy kind of things. Again, to go back to the pulp stuff, I think the pulp serials really kind of kills this guy for no apparent reason. The screaming that sounds pretty weird.
Sounded more like a dying goat. It sounds almost as bad as whenever Optimus Prime would transform in Dark of the Moon. And it just
I think this is one of the most sinister moments where you hear all these people dying and he's just cackling. This is where you get the big body count from.
Body count.
Why would you be able to derail a train off a cliff? Like, why is that even a control?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. He cackles over...
Too many questions. Too many questions.
Cackles over Kemp's death.
Yeah, but you'll see that soon.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. It was that easy, guys, back in the day.
Like taking candy from a baby.
Joker status.
It's
Booty,
like
booty,
the
booty,
end of
booty,
Batman
rockin'
89
everywhere.
Trust starts playing by Prince.
Trust.
Yeah.
Who do ya? And he's got giant balloons.
Yeah.
Those are my balloons.
They went from a couple hundred to 10,000 to 100,000.
So,
A small country.
yeah.
Yes. That guy in the background, I don't believe any of this.
Dude's just-
Thumbtacks everywhere.
that dude's just smoking a stogie like a boss.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, you should definitely check out and borrow the at least the Invisible Man Returns.
Yeah, I
It's
think
really,
I
really
think
awesome.
I'm not going to let you take it home tonight.
That's fine. Meant to be watched. And most people I get to want to watch this are people who are interested in the old kind of film and the process of it. Most people, it's a shame, just don't want to watch it. Which hopefully this commentary makes people want to check it out more.
Along with the other Universal horrors, I always felt Invisible Man got the short end of the Universal stick, though.
Mhm.
Though, to be fair, how many movies are there in the Invisible Man series?
Like this, like the
In the the original
4.
universe.
or five. I'm sorry.
Which is as many as the Creature from the Black Lagoon got.
Mhm. It's like Invisible Man Returns, Invisible Agent, Invisible Woman, Invisible
Man's Revenge.
Man's Revenge. Okay. And I have not watched all of them, but Invisible Man Returns is great. I love that movie.
Oh.
Vincent Price is
This-
great in it.
This edition also has the Invisible Agent original theatrical trailer.
Oh, I have not seen that actually. That one actually sounds interesting. I haven't actually watched that one.
I know what I'll be
I love
doing this week.
They're all sitting around like they're in kindergarten. Feds, Dick Tracy, Green Hornet's there. Howard
Is Green
Hughes.
Arrow still there, or is he?
I think Green Arrow's back at the police station.
Yeah.
It's Dark Knight Returns. No, it's Kingdom Come Green Arrow.
And Steve Harmel, or whatever.
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell during the off season.
Mm-hmm. And Stags.
Stags?
Shave your mustache. He'll never recognize
That's
you.
right. Part your hair on the other side, not down the middle.
Throw some glasses on.
Yeah. I mean, he really is the safest place he could be right now.
Honestly, just stand in front of like a room with no other doors, no windows, with like a shotgun. As soon as the door
It's
opens,
the Sam Stone way.
yeah, and there's nobody there, just pull the trigger.
Dummy.
Loose Earth.
So
great.
Get behind so unenthused. Oh, there's a homicidal serial killer going around. It's invisible. But I
On
thought-
BBC America.
Followed by
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Totally, Doctor Who.
Do you like seeing an invisible man kill, torture, and murder hundreds of people? Then you'll love the night's presentation of
terrible-
the 1933 Invisible Man, followed by
Copper. Only a proper tosser wouldn't watch The Invisible Man starring Claude Rains here on BBC America. But to answer your question, or your query, Chris, yes, that is a terrible idea.
I think it was just a thing that I posited, not necessarily. There was no question mark at the end. It was just I was
No debate.
Yeah, I was definitely like, no, that's a terrible idea. They have the net, but they're walking down the center of the street. He could easily just go, oh, whoop. Na-na-na. Don't you na-na-na my wife?
How dare you?
It's from that episode of Scrubs.
That's right. Scrubs is the best.
It is.
tear down the wall.
They probably actually sprayed a cat. Because it's the 1930s.
And now it's being chased by Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Uncle Vernon.
I love this whole exchange here.
That's some pretty nice wire work there.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the most diabolical moment in the whole movie. Like
Not the train.
well, the train, yeah, but like the fact that this was his once friend.
Holy
and
shit.
He
We got a whole man up in the air.
his final line, and then laughing as he just burns to death.
You'll believe a man can fly. You'll believe a man can crash.
You'll die. Poor guy can't even figure out how to hit the brake while he's in the car.
Man, they sure don't make them like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
No head for heights. Like that guy.
It's the Black Widow Scarlett Johansson School of Acting.
Yeah. Guy was about as wake as, like, he's like, oh, he's got to sleep. Appropriately, the sleepiest motherfucker.
Huma.
310 to Huma?
310 the Huma.
How comfortable is it to sleep naked on hay?
Not at all.
I mean, compared to
He really is crazy.
Yeah, his options.
Ooh.
Now, is this the guy that he fucks with on the bridge?
The old man?
Yeah. He
May
takes
very well
his hat
be,
off
may
and
very
throws it
well
in.
be.
Who's all comes back
Who he
to
calls Grandpa?
Maybe if he didn't throw his hat in there, he wouldn't lead to his eventual death.
Shit, I just walked into the
Yeah.
Invisible Man masturbating.
Again.
Yeah.
It feels like hay.
Holy shit.
Oh, boy.
I wonder how long it took him to get from his farm to the police station.
4 years. But again, we would know that if we were an audience member back
Yeah.
in 1933. Smoking prohibited. Dick Tracy in the background just doesn't believe any of this.
What'd he say? He said, take a pile of wood. You know, Dick Tracy's partners, or like the guys, they would always
Yeah.
just repeat everything.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's gotta be suck to be. It's gotta suck to be that driver.
Yeah.
What if he'd woken up and walked away by this point? Luckily, he hadn't.
He's like, oh, fuck yeah.
I've never even heard of that much money.
1,000 pounds in 1933. He's set for. Well, to be fair, he doesn't look like he's got like. He's already.
So he's set for life.
Yeah, he's, he's already passed the 1933 life expectancy. He's good.
Yeah. That dude was like around Civil War times. You got to think he's like, if he's, 70 something.
70 something. He's would yeah.
Kid, like,
Probably saw the invention of the radio
Definitely saw the invention of the radio, and the light bulb,
and the
car.
submarine.
Yep,
First used.
in the Civil War,
Yeah,
along with the ironclad.
but not the Iron Maiden.
metal.
Execute them. Bogus.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gave us a signal.
They have a light behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that his naked feet are putting out
Shoes.
shoe prints.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going a little low there.
Yeah. Had to make sure it was the Invisible Man.
Yeah. Nice. So this is a scene I know, Chris, you're going to freak out in, because this is the most technically awesome, challenging scene in the whole movie, easily.
Well, I will Prepare my hand.
The way they come up with the getting rid of the drug in Returns is really clever.
Spoilers.
And it's actually a sequel too, which is cool. It's not just like
Oh.
Just about all the Universal films were.
Yeah.
I mean, it
They
deals
have-
with like family members and stuff.
Mm.
Like, it was almost like Nightmare on Elm Street-esque. Like, so the Wolfman dies, but he's resurrected in the next film.
It's pretty impressive how they have the breathing.
Mm-hmm. His famous line: "Meddled in things he shouldn't have." This part's so cool.
It's pretty metal, man.
And that's all we see of Claude Rains' first American talkie. Like I said, forever props, man. Your first role, you're only seen for a couple seconds in the end.
Forever Reigns.
Forever Rains. Nothing lasts forever except for Claude Rains.
Diamonds are forever.
Yeah.
Are they?
According to Shirley Bassey.
Actually, diamonds are forever.
It's a Universal picture.
It's Universal. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. It's a Universal.
What were you expecting? It was
Yeah.
a Universal picture.
Yay. The players. Hey, you
A
know.
good cast deserves another mention.
But none of the crew. None of the crew.
Nope.
Well,
There
they
is
all
there is
sucked.
a post-credit Marvel scene in this movie, by the way.
He joins the
Avengers
Avengers.
tie-in.
Yeah.
Nick Fury shows up in the hospital and he's like, I want you to join the Avengers Initiative.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wait, you're dead.
Yeah.
Pokes him, he's like, oh, shit.
Too late.
So, yeah, that was Jake's horror pick,
Yeah.
The Invisible
A
Man.
good one.
It's a classic. I enjoyed watching with you, gentlemen.
Of course.
Yeah. Those buckets of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a nice short one too, because we've done some long ones.
Yeah. This has only been about the length of one of our normal podcasts.
Yeah.
One could argue even shorter.
Yeah.
He could, but it wouldn't be
Look,
successful
he's
because
pointing
we've
us.
been going about.
I mean, you can't see what we're seeing, but pointing us to the bonus material.
Oh, I thank you, Claude Rains.
Claude.
Cloud.
Now you see him. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
if you have the same DVD that we have, you just saw it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's glorious.
Now go read the book because it's good stuff.
Or watch The Return of the Invisible Man.
That's right. Starring
The
Vincent
Invisible
Price.
Man returns.
In fact,
Yeah.
like Batman. And Superman. He also had a returns
Yeah.
film.
Although Jack Griffin does not return.
No, he's dead
Dead.
forever.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the last of our individual picks for the inaugural Rocktober Halloween Horror Month. We close out the month with a couple of anniversary films. One that will release on our usual day, and another one that you might get as a special Halloween treat. Ooh. So I hope you're clenching your anuses with anticipation, because I know I am. But then again, I always do. So this has been
Even when he's not anticipating anything.
yeah. So this has been another Geek Out commentary. I'm Sam,
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
and we'll,
Catch
see
you on the flip side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Good night, Claude Rains.
Good night, sweet prince.
Good night, Eric.